Hello.
Hello.
How are
I'm ready
you?
for all the failures that I didn't get
Oh,
to.
no. I'm sure you've gotten a whole bunch of wins. Let me see if I want to write in this. I want to type in this. So let me
Okay.
pretend like I am returning your email.
Okay.
Okay.
So I did rewrite those two chapters. So I did land up actually rewriting them,
Okay.
which did take a little bit of time.
Which
They
two
are,
chapters are you talking about? The ones where the POV was a little wonky?
yeah. So I
Okay.
actually put that one chapter from the villain's point of view.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. The whole chapter?
No, not the whole chapter. Sorry. I just had like this big truck pass by.
Oh,
um, So parts of the track, because it is, I jump and I love to jump. Oh, look, they're
yay.
joining. So I have mixtures of it being from her point of view at the start of the chapter, with her being disgusted in him, and
Uh-huh.
then changing to him being really annoyed at what's going on,
Okay.
to how it like happens.
Uh-huh.
So that worked out really well. And I was able to fix those two chapters, and it makes so much more sense.
Yay, that's
And it's like
exciting.
I like this zone of the book now again.
Oh, good. Hi, Leigh
Yeah.
Ann. I don't know if you,
Hi, I'm late.
No worries.
yeah, we just got on, so I just pulled up the list and Catherine was sharing her wins. So you keep going. You got your two,
Okay.
you wrote those two chapters. Okay.
Yep. And then I've realized that it takes me a longer amount of time to edit than I would like it to. So I would like things to be done faster than they are, but they're not. I actually went through and edited after those two chapters another 9. So I have 6 more to go before I need to hand it off. But I felt really good about getting those 9 done because it was a huge chunk. And I think I've removed about 15,000 words from technically act 1, which I
Wow.
think is really nice. Like it's cool that I won't be handing off possibly an 80,000 piece to Aaron.
Uh-huh.
When I do it, it'll be like 65. I'll be like, here's part 1.
Right on. Okay, so let's see. Did you, so when you say edit, are you talking about passive voice or just a
Yeah.
straight? Okay.
So I'm doing the passive voice. I don't know why. It even doing the from the bottom up, sometimes it just takes me a bit.
That's
So
okay.
like
So you're learning about your process. This is your first book.
yes.
So you don't know how long things are going to take you. So
Mhm.
I think that that is a giant win right there, just that you're learning about your process. Excuse me. What was I going to say? The coughing totally made me lose my train of thought. Oh, well, I'll go into that later. So keep going on your wins.
And then so I'm up to chapter 24. I'm editing chapter 24 and I can hand it off at chapter 29.
Okay, up to
So I
chapter
don't have too much
24
left to fix
for Act
before I
One,
can hand off
or
act
for the
1 to
first
somebody
third,
else.
anyways, that you
Yeah.
were going to hand off. Okay. Let's
So
see, four
so
more
that's
chapters.
yeah, for like technically 5 if you count the one I'm working on.
Okay.
So
Um,
that's been cool. That's sitting at the side for the moment because I do have 2 big articles that I needed to write this week
okay.
for the paper, or I would have had those 5 done. But I'm getting paid for these 2 articles, so I'm going to need to do
Right. Of
it.
course. Paid work it always trumps.
Yes. And then I figured out what I think I want my reader magnet to be.
Oh, what's your
Yes.
reader magnet going to be?
So there are 2 backstories that I kept trying to put into the story. And I've every time they've popped up, I've actually deleted it because I'm like, this has nothing to do with the rest of the story. It was just really cool for me to know this backstory.
Uh-huh.
So it's she does something to help the factory and stop a strike. And it gets mentioned here and there, and it's why her dowry is now the factory.
So is this is backstory, but also like side story? It
Yeah. So
happens during the book?
no, it happened before the book started.
Okay.
So she would have 3 years technically for her. She was 15 during that time.
Okay. Backstory
Yeah.
for Ellie. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So is it going to
And
be a short
then,
story?
yeah, I'm thinking of doing a little short story because I want to do character drawings for people because steampunk is so visual. I wanted to give them a visual thing too when they did. And someone had suggested, well, if you're going to do characters or here's what the factory looks like, give a story to go along with it, and it
Nice.
will be more.
That's
And then I
cool.
also have his small backstory, so I can give them 2 like short stories where he does something that saved the factory, and it's how he got his earrings, because it's mentioned throughout the book that you get earrings for doing certain things in the factory, and he's got 7. So this would be like the story of how he starts getting them.
Okay. Wow. That's going to be a great reader magnet.
Yes, I
And it
think so.
could, and it's perfect because it's the convertible cookie.
Yeah.
Because people that don't know anything about it will get a feel for the story and the characters, and it doesn't like have any spoilers in it. And then also if they've read the book and said, oh, that was so great, I want to hear more, so you
Yeah.
could do it on both ends. That's
Mhm.
awesome. I don't have a convertible cookie. I need to come up with one for me too.
And it's because I'm actually editing a chapter where they tell this story to each other. And at this point in the original story, this is the 5th time I've mentioned this. So I've
Okay.
removed it all those other times, except for like the tiniest mention of, right, this is my dowry now, or I'm no longer in the burning room, as it's like cold in the factory. So I have to fix that chapter a little bit to now make it so I can pull that, and it'll be good. It'll be good. I'm excited for it.
All right, that's awesome. Anything else you want to talk about? Did you say you finished those articles you needed to write, or that's still a
I
task?
am no, because the artist finally got back to me and handed me their photos. So yeah, a day before the article is due. Thanks, person. But so I'm currently working on the graveyard article that I had. So that one is about a 3,000 word article that I need to hand in by Sunday.
Okay.
And then I have the other article that I will work on tonight, since I just got the email that she sent me the pictures.
Article.
And then it's back to editing for me.
Okay. All right. So I want to come back to you, but I want to check in with Leigh Ann first. Hello, Leigh Ann.
Hello.
I'm trying to pull up your little file here. Let's see. Is this you?
Okay.
Nope, that's Catherine's. That's Catherine's. Here's yours. All right. So it's been a minute since we've talked to you. You had something like a dentist appointment, or I don't know, something happened last time and you couldn't come.
My son's glasses broke,
Oh,
and he's
that's
blind
right.
without them.
Me too.
Yeah.
All right. So, what's been going on? We haven't talked since the end of July, I think. So it's been a month.
So lots of words written since then. I finished my book with my co-author. It ended up being, between the two of us, about 110, 115,000 words. We got done. Got
And
that
which
edited.
can you tell me, because I have your stuff written out in terms of so is it the Spearwood Academy? You finished that book?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That was book 2. So got that done, got it edited, and I feel your pain on the edit, because we did the whole 115,000 at one time. So like she did it, and then I finished it. Got that done, and it's the pre-orders up. It'll release next Tuesday, so on the 30th. So this has been spending most of my time just, doing all the pre-order, getting newsletters out and posting it in my groups and trying to find people who will do arcs and all that good stuff. So that's
all the
been
publication
my,
tasks, of which
exactly.
there are many. I once did a class on the
Exactly.
nitty gritty of self-publishing. Like there's a ginormous list of
It is
all the
so
things.
much. Yep.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Did you finish adding secrets to Plotter? Have you kept working in Plotter? Is that working?
Yeah, so I didn't get the secrets. I finished the ruins in Plotter. It was the one I had mostly done. I actually have secrets plotted. It's just not in Plotter, if that
Okay.
makes sense.
Uh-huh.
It's just in like a Google Doc. So I need to get that converted. Mostly for me, so I can, like I think I told you guys I'm going to try some dictation to help me if I want to have a pretty clean format of the plot as I dictate, so I can check things off my list.
Mm-hmm.
I found I don't do great with dictation. I thought I would be really short, but when I did some of my dictation, I was like, wow, I was aiming for 2,500 words. That's my typical chapter length. I try to be consistent with chapter length.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm anywhere between 20 and 3,000, and the one chapter ended up being 4,000.
Wow.
Like, oop.
So dictation's easy for you then.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, so I got to figure out if it's, do I just talk and then break it up later? Do I just deal with the bigger chapters that come through, or do I go through and cut? So I actually did some cuts to pull the chapter length back.
Okay.
So it didn't sound so wordy as it was going through it. But I think as going through dictation also helped it sound a little more natural. You know, when you think dialogue, thought, right? It rambled a little, but like I said, in the end, I think some of that rambling actually helped the flow of the story. Does that make sense? So, so I did that with the Spearwood though. So that was, I just wrote lots of Spearwood words in the last couple weeks, but most of that was through dictation.
Did you think any more about joining that short story collaboration you were thinking about?
So I joined one, but it doesn't release until like the end of 2024.
Yeah, that was the novella for the anthology, right?
There's two. So yeah, they're both end up being novellas. It'll be like 35,000 words. The one that they wanted me to do like 10,000, I told them no. I don't think I'm capable of writing 10,000 word story.
Okay, that was the one you were thinking about doing it in order to access new readers, and that's the one you turned down.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think I'm capable of telling a story like that. I don't like things. I mean, because I write romance, I don't like insta love. You know, I like that slow build and whatnot.
Right?
You can't
Yeah,
really do a
like
slow
that insta love.
Yeah,
That's a little too
I just don't like
hallmarky.
that. It is, and I don't like the insta lust. I think that's even worse. So, I mean, and they're fine books, but when they're written like that, not for me, right? That's not what I like to write. So, I turned it down. If it wasn't a romance book, I probably could have gotten away with some sort of like adventure type story to throw in, but it needed a romance element, and that's where I was like, no, I can't.
Cool. That's a lot of stuff. Anything else you want to add to your win list?
No, that was a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah. So cool. Tasks. So what are you wanting to work on? Let's see, what's your next longer term tasks and goals? Did you?
So the next one would be get done.
What's that?
So my next major goal would be to finish the secret story, because it's the third book in the trilogy, so it'll finish that series out.
Okay, so but first you want to put that into Plotter, right?
Yes.
Okay, so secrets, plotting into Plotter.
Yep.
And then let's see, I'm going through your list here. Check out. So for Ruins, you finished, did you finish the editing, the writing and the editing of book 2? You said you finished it, but I think you just meant you put the plotting into Plotter. Is that right?
Nope, I finished writing. I only had like maybe 5,000 words. I went to add about 2 chapters to the end of it to
Okay.
help round it out. So that's done. I haven't finished the full edit yet, just because I was, like I said, that 115,000 word edit on Spearwood was big.
All right. So continue editing, Ruins book 2.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Let's see. What else do we have here? Did you recover book 1, or are you waiting until you're completely done with book 2 and have it totally ready before you recover book 1? What was your
yeah, what I
plan?
think I'm gonna do a rapid release. So I want to have the next 3 books, so it'll be 4 total,
Mhm.
done, to do the recover and then relaunch the series, and then have everything out on pre-order when I get ready to do that. So it'll be, so the first one will be a little fresher, right? So we'll have a new cover, it'll have the extra chapters, and then it'll lead into the other books that'll have pre-orders out there. But I want to have them all written before I do that.
Okay.
Just because, like I said, I want to do anywhere from I haven't picked the timeline yet. Whenever I talk to people about this thing, there's always that, everyone has their own opinion, basically. And since Amazon lost some of our algorithms on that,
Okay.
it's what reader expectation is. So if I do like anywhere from like a 3 to 5 week delay, I might push it to 6. I don't know. There's a couple people that are pretty successful doing 2 months, so they have it stretched out.
Okay. So originally we had for Ruins in this 4-book series that you were going to launch book 1 and set up the pre-order for book 2, and then push the book 1 with, well, both of them, I guess, with Facebook ads and newsletter swaps, and try to get a book bub for book 1, and then launch book 2 a month after book 1's relaunch. But now you're wanting to write all 4 books first and then go and do that process. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Okay.
thinking. I could just, in some of the other classes I've taken, like through this info stack that I got, and just talking to people about where readers are right now for that particular genre, that was the recommendation.
Okay.
So although by the time it's done, they'll be like, no, it's changed.
I just want to make sure that the action
full.
plan is correct. That's all when I write it up.
Yep.
Okay. All right. And then in secrets, finish writing and editing book 3. Is that what your next kind of plan is, or are you wanting to focus more on Ruins? What is your ratio of secrets, Ruins?
It'll be secrets first, so I can, just like that, I can finish that series and move on.
Okay, so are you just gonna finish the trilogy, the first 3 books, and then move on? Or because you said there was a 9-book series and you're only on book 3.
Yeah, it's a series of 3 series.
Right. So you just want to finish the first series and then kind of reevaluate or move on to something else and give yourself a break and then go back to books 4 to 6 some other time.
Yep.
Okay.
It's just a standalone, so you wouldn't need the others. Like it'll complete that arc.
Okay.
So it'll be done.
All right. Task, secrets, plotting and plotter, continuing editing, Ruins, book 2, and write secrets 3. Okay. Cool. Anything else that you think you want to work on like soon-ish? I mean, that's a lot of work right there. Your tasks are pretty big. Plotter for secrets, and then write the secrets book, continue editing Ruins book. And yeah, So are you going to try to at the same time write Secrets 3 and Ruins 3 at the same time?
I thought about it. I do better when I break it up because my mind it gets kind of bored with the
Okay.
same story. So we'll see. I might switch it up a little bit and do one day write. I'm pretty quick at writing.
Okay.
And I edit as I write. So my edits aren't really heavy edits typically when I do them. So what I was gonna try to do is maybe a chapter one day, edit either that day or the next day, that chapter, and then maybe the day after that. So do that on Mondays, and then on Wednesdays maybe write one of the other ones and just rotate that way instead of trying to write 2 chapters in the same week for the same book.
You have a magic brain, Leigh Ann. I cannot hold that many stories in my head at the same time. So
it helps.
yeah,
That's
kudos.
why the plotter helps. I mean, if you even though I'm a pantser like that, just having that kind of high level idea, and then what I typically do to get myself back in the mindset, I'll go back in and reread the previous chapter and then edit it again. So by the time I finish my book, I've actually edited it probably 2 or 3 times before I do a full of the whole thing.
Right.
Which is why my edit tends to be fairly light by the time I get to the end, because I'm going back and tweaking the editing as I go. Each chapter, because I said it helps me and okay, yeah, that's where my character's mind was. Make sure you carry that into the next chapter so you're not all dark and depressed, and then the next chapter you're hey, it's great to see everyone. You're no, that's not where you're at. Wrong headspace.
Okay. Okay, let's switch back to Catherine for a little bit. Catherine, some of the other tasks that you were they were kind of bonusy or just things to think about in the next month or so. Did you do did you come up with that Google Doc for your street team?
No, I went and focused on the reader magnet.
Okay, that's cool.
With the reader magnet, in case that artwork, I also want stuff like that for the street team. So I'm going to focus on the reader magnet first, because that's
cool.
important to build my newsletter.
Yeah. Did you write the landing page on MailChimp?
No.
For the newsletter? Okay.
No, I'm sorry.
No.
I feel like
I'm not a task manager. I'm just there's some things to think about. What about purchasing the ISBNs? Did you look into Valkyrie.com?
So I looked at some pricing and it's expensive.
It's very expensive.
I'm going to need to save a little money. Maybe there's something around Black Friday. I don't know if they'll do deals or something, and I can wait maybe towards that time to try to snag.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's going to be my goal.
Are you a member of any of those, what is it? The NINC or one of those other organizations? Because they'll typically give you a discount on ISBN. So I get 25% off when I buy ISBNs. And granted, I buy them in blocks of 100, but you don't need that many. But
how many, if you don't mind me asking, how much does that come out to? Because
buying 100?
Yeah, I've heard pricing goes down for them, but it's also a bulk of money.
Yeah.
It is. I don't even know. Hold on, I'll tell you. I'll look it up.
I was gonna say, you don't have to tell me either if you're not comfortable with that. That's fine.
I mean, because it's the same price, but if you go look it up, it would be the same price. I don't get anything extra. But I use the IBPA, and that's my membership. Totally worth it, by the way.
What does that stand for?
It's what is it? International Book Publishers or Independent Book Publishers Association.
You have to look into that.
Yeah, go look at all of their you get not just the Bacher discount, but you can also do some of the other areas that you may want to publish, so you can get discounts through them. It's really nice. I mean, like I use a lot of their services or discounts. So
Cool.
and it's not the only one. Like, so there's the NINC, like, so I use the IBPA. It's the one I liked better. I wouldn't use Romance Writers of America. They've had some shady stuff going on the last couple of years.
Okay.
But have some things that they can help you with as well. But you get discounts through all those.
Nice. I'll definitely check that out then, because yeah, it's a bit pricey. And I don't know why I didn't think it was pricey. I think it's because I've heard a lot of people will do the Kindle one where it's just free and they never talk about how much it actually costs to do or to buy those things. So that'll be a podcast episode I'll eventually do for other people.
Here's what I found out.
Yeah, and you want to be careful with that. So if you're going to go wide, you want to think about your ISBN, right? Because if you go wide and then use the default, and each one of the services has a default. So Apple will give you a number, Kobo will give you a number, whatnot. But what you're not able to do at that point then is to show consistency. So if I gave you my ISBN, you plug that in, you can see that across all of the different ones. Same thing. So it's based on the type of book. So when I go register it, this is my ebook ISBN, and I use that ebook ISBN across all of mine. So then when I have a different version, let's say I have a large print book, then I have an ISBN for that. And again, wherever I publish that large print book, it's going to have that. And then I have just a regular print book, and then that's a different version. Each one has their own. I probably use about 5 or 6 ISBNs per book, but like I said, those ISBNs, because it's based on the book type, like I said, ebook, large print, regular print, hardcover, whatever, right? Each is a different version type. Regardless of which site you're looking at, it's all the same ISBN. Why can't I find prices? Sorry.
So I've looked it up. I've looked it up. So I can give prices now. So if you just buy one ISBN, it's $125.
Yeah. Nope.
So you can buy 10 ISBNs for $295. So that makes it only $29.50 per. Yeah. And so that's what I had done, before when I first published, that's the package that I bought. But the 100 ISBNs is $575. And that I think is going to be my next one. I certainly don't have that less lying around, but yeah, I mean, if you're going to do, like you said, large print, paperback, hardcover, audiobook, ebook, that's 5 ISBNs per title. So.
And that's the route I would like to go.
Yeah,
I want to
too.
do the large print. I work at a library. I see how often large print is used. So I definitely want the large print. It's going to be a little bit for the audio, but I want it to be there. And then eventually, if ever I get it translated, I'll need them for the translations.
True. Although if you don't do, like, if you not sell, not lease, what is that? What is the word I'm looking for, Leigh Ann? If somebody else does the translations, so
if somebody else publishes it for you, the ISBN is in the publisher name.
Yeah.
So they would.
So
if you sold your Korean rights or something like that or whatever, then the Korean publisher would provide the ISBN for that translation.
Gotcha.
Okay. So, okay.
I'm trying to look at the APA.
I'm sorry. What'd you say, Leigh Ann? I didn't hear you.
IBPA, what the discount is for that? So they give you a discount for Bacher. I mean, even if you got a 10% discount, right, and you spent $500, I mean, you're saving $50.
Yeah. I'll take any discount.
Do what?
I'll take any discount.
Exactly.
Okay. So I did have a question for Catherine. So I am this is in the, how do I say this? In an effort to be supportive, I'm wondering if you would like to reevaluate your publication date.
Yeah, I've thought about that too.
I don't want to deter you. I think it's awesome that you have a deadline and a pub date, and I think you should totally go for it. And I think that you're totally capable of doing it. That said, with your first book, it's nice to make sure everything's, to where you want it to be. You don't want to put out a subpar book just because it's pub date that you set up. You know what I mean? And because you're still learning your process and you don't really know how long things will take, maybe if you tack on 2 or 3 months just to give yourself a breather, would that feel really bad for you? Or would that feel like, oh, I can breathe a little bit now?
It's a mixture, because as I was looking at it, I'm like, I really do think I need to push this date. Could I do it? Possibly. But I also don't want to put out something that's going to be shit either. So
not that I think what you would put out is,
no, I know what you mean, but like, also,
I'm only saying this because I have been really going through this process this year for myself too. Like, I keep tacking on, and every time I think, oh yeah, I could totally get XYZ done by this date.
Yeah.
And then I say,
working.
And then I'm going to add 2 months just to, and then I can make it to the date. And I would have really hurt myself if I tried to.
Yeah.
And this is a date that you set up, it's completely arbitrary. I mean, it was, so I just wanted to put that out there in the ether. See if you wanted to think about it a little bit.
I think what I want to do is have that as, this is the goal, I'm aiming for it. And if not, maybe January, do it at the start of the year, but I don't want to push it past February.
Okay. Aim for December 2nd.
Yeah. And then if I need to, then I'm cool with going until like the end of February. And then it's like, if you haven't published this by the end of February, like, what's wrong with you?
Okay. So the hard deadline is February 28th, right? Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah. So definitely I'm going to try for the December. Even if it's sometime in December and it's not on the 2nd, I'll survive.
Your birthday month. Month.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it'll be my Christmas present to me.
There you go.
Who knows? But so yeah, no, I have been looking at it and being like, ooh, maybe I do need to push a little of this. And right now it's work that I haven't been able to hand anything to Aaron because he's been in the middle of something else.
Okay.
So like he might be co-writing with somebody. So he's reading through those books to see if that's something he wants to do with them.
Okay.
And he's like, I'll be free come September. And I was like, cool, I'll have part 1 for you. And then it's like 60,000 words or a little bit more. It'll take you about a month and I can fix the other section.
Right. Okay. All right. Awesome.
Oh, and there was a win I totally forgot about, but I did get my first cover back.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. And they did a remarkably amazing job at being very historic.
Is that good or bad?
It is good in the sense that I didn't want that busty steampunk women vibe going on because they never wear that kind of clothing. But bad in the fact that there was no steampunk. So it was like Victorian historic.
Okay.
So I went back and I was like, these are the pieces that I like. I really like this dress. Can we add these and these? So I'm waiting on the second draft.
All right. Cover back, gave feedback.
Yeah. So
nice.
that was exciting. It was cool to, when I got the email of it's here and I'm like, oh my God, it's here. Am I going to like it or not? It was such a weird feeling, but it wasn't too bad either. So,
all right. Awesome.
Yeah. I'm glad that they went the historic. So now I can add the steampunk and not be like, ooh, take away all of this and add history.
Yeah.
So now it's just like fixing. I don't know, I gave them like 5 big things where I'm like, here, fix this, 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 and this, and we'll be good.
Very cool. I'm glad that you knew what you wanted and all that. And
Yeah.
let's see. So I wanted to mention that Leigh Ann put in the chat the IBPA
Yes.
membership, and it's 15% off for ISBNs and Ingram Spark discounts also. And Ingram Spark is where you would want to upload your book if you want it in
Mhm.
bookstores and libraries.
Yep. Which of course I do eventually. No, right?
If you want to go wide, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's see. Where are we now in terms of? Okay, I'm going to exit out of that window. I have too many windows open. I don't know where your faces are. Okay, Leigh Ann, so anything that you want help with, or you want to kick some ideas off of us, use this as sounding boards, or?
Yeah.
I'll be honest, after the kind of rush to get everything done with Spirit, my brain's kind of dumped. It's like, I don't know what I'm doing or, what I should do next. Like this, just kind of get through next Tuesday, probably take a day or two break from just writing stuff. Because like that, how it is. And just, there's just so much. And then pick it back up sometime that first week in September. And then just making sure I get myself motivated to just start, because I don't want to get into a lull. I don't know how some of these people, like, they're just push all the time. I mean, I have some friends that they write and publish 1 to 2 50 to 60,000 word stories a month. And I'm like, you guys are insane. Totally insane. I think I could do it if I tried, but I just don't think I could do it.
Well, I mean, you already write that many words and you already
Right.
edit that many words, but you're also writing in like 4 different series. So if you did want to publish a book a month, you could just stick with one series. I mean, you already do that.
Yeah. Like and some of that about career, right? If it would probably be better for my career if I just stuck to one, finished it, wrote the next one, because that's what readers expect. But I don't just write for them, I write for myself, and that's how I need to write. So
So your definition of success is different than those other writers. So comparing yourself to the book a monthers, it doesn't really do anything for your career.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's see, I'm just scanning through your action plan here, looking for, did you have I guess I don't have it written down. Do you have a launch or not a launch date, a pre-order date for anything else? Is anything else set up that you are on deadline for at this point?
So we have the book 3 for the Spearwood. Is up for pre-order.
And when is that?
But it's 6 months. Hold on, I'll tell you.
6 months?
Okay, make sure I get the right. It's 6 months. It's February 24th for next year.
Oh, 2024 or 2023?
2023.
Okay. All right.
We have those set to go out every 6 months until the series is done.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a 6-book series. So it'll go into through the end of 2024 before it's done.
And then at some point you were thinking of maybe not continuing to work with Lynn and finding a new co-author, or are things kind of, I mean, how are things with you and Lynn now?
I think this will be the last series that we'll work together, but we'll still end up working together for the next, like I said, 2 years.
Yeah.
Last year, like I mentioned, we were actually publishing a book a month. They were anywhere between 35 and 40,000 words. And then, like I said, all this stuff happened and we just kind of stopped. So this book was actually a push, right? We were to the deadline because we'd already had the pre-order up.
Mm-hmm.
So little stressful trying to get it done, but we talked the other day. We did some brief plotting on book 3.
Okay.
Picked up on the things that we left. We didn't leave a big cliffhanger at the end of 2. It was, you know, there's things that are unresolved, but I wouldn't call them a cliffhanger necessarily.
Mhm.
It's just, you know, plot
An open
continuation.
question.
Yeah, exactly. There's like, you know, no one's actually not hanging off the cliff kind of thing. But so we talked through some of that. So we have it done, but we'll have to start writing it fairly soon and get that into our schedule, because otherwise it's just not going to happen.
Make schedule with Lynn.
Yep.
All right. And Catherine, you are going through those last 5 chapters, so you can do the first third to Erin, rethinking the pub date, kind of, write the graveyard article, write the artist article, and you know, that'll take you a week or 2 probably to get all of those things done. Yeah.
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 That, and I'm gonna add the Instagram piece onto that. So I want to get the Instagram all set for the month. So I can
that Google
just,
Doc.
yeah,
Okay.
for that piece to just get it up and ready to go. And because I'm gonna need to be more active on it, because Instagram is where I like to be anyway.
Yeah, me too.
And it's where I'm used to, like, I'm in writing communities in there. So I need to come back in and be active if I want to get people, you know, reading my book and becoming a street team or getting beta readers if I need. So yeah.
Okay. Cool. And let's see, we've got about 15 minutes left. What can I do that's of value for you guys right now?
This has already been really good for me. Like, it's made me realize my limitations on the grand scale of I can do all of this. Like, I really thought writing the book was the hardest part. It's not. It's everything that comes after writing the book. I can now write a book that's like 200,000 words in 9 months because I've done that before. But I can't seem to edit that in that amount of time. So it's been very helpful for me. So thank you.
Oh, good. In terms of, do you think it's the accountability, or do you think it's...
That's helped. Yeah. Having somebody who I have to come on to and be like, yeah, I didn't do it again has been helpful. Because I went from being like, yeah, I'll get this whole section done in 2 weeks to I think I can manage it in 2 weeks to no, I got a few, and then yeah, no. Like, if I get another 5 chapters done, I'm happy. So
what about you, Leigh Ann?
Yeah, I would agree with those sentiments. You know, just appreciate somebody listening and commiserating, you know, trying to keep it level-headed, right? Because there's times when my head's in the clouds, like, I can do all this stuff. And then you're like, are you sure you can really get all that done? And I'm like, well, maybe not, but I want to try. And then, like I said, that kind of accountability, say, nope, I didn't do it. Because, you know, these things happened and everyone understands because life happens. But then pushing that focus back, right? Because like I said, a lot of times for me, at least, you know, if 1 to 2 things go wrong, I have a tendency to just try to block it out. And, you know, having somebody there saying it's not as bad as you think, you know, like
just getting another perspective sometimes helps.
Exactly. So I appreciate both of you listening to me ramble about random writing things.
That's my favorite part of coaching, is listening to authors talk about writing. I love talking shop. And I like all of the what comes out of what I like about group coaching is kind of that sort of mastermindy, you know, so you get multiple thoughts on things, or, oh, have you tried this idea? Or somebody has a link, or somebody has a discount, or somebody has, you know, an idea about something else, or So I like the multiple. It's nice. One-on-one coaching is really nice too, because then you can really dive into something and sometimes it ends up being kind of counseling too.
Yeah.
When I do, sometimes when I do one-on-one counseling, it gets, tearful and, so I like both aspects of group and individual coaching. Which have you had experience with? Either of you have you had experience with doing individual coaching before?
I've done individual coaching for other people. I haven't, besides the times that we've done it, I
Mhm.
haven't had it personally.
What about you, Leigh Ann?
I have never worked with a coach before, so it's new to me.
I just saw my husband drive away in my car.
Oh no.
I think he went grocery shopping. He told me ahead of time, but sorry, that was totally distracting for a second there. Coaching, yeah, I think coaching is really, I think it's the accountability. I think that's the magic of working with a coach. I really do. Um, I'm going to do a tiny little plug here since this is our last one on the InfoStack deal. So this is the last one. So I do have a package that's available for anyone on my website that's $375 for 5 sessions of one-on-one coaching. So if you want to try one-on-one coaching, then we can do that at a 20% discount. So that ends up being like $60 each session, which is much less than my regular individual session. So just putting that out there. I'll put that information on the website, the InfoStack website, and you can consider. So I just wanted to make that announcement to anyone that's watching the replays, and that's why I said it. So we still have 10 more minutes. Anybody want to say anything else? I've got your wins and I've got your tasks for the next like immediate couple of weeks, and then I'll just tack it on to your action plan that I've already set out for you in the past. Is there anything else I can do for you?
How's your book coming along?
It's exciting.
Yeah.
I got I've got all the edits done, but I do want to run it through Pro Writing Aid. And I think as we were getting on, my Pro Writing Aid I just upgraded it, and I downloaded the newest version or whatever, and it's not opening up my document for some reason. So I need to like troubleshoot that, but I want to run the reports on it. And then my editor, I have scheduled to start working on the line edits for this October 1st, but I'm going to Turkey on the 25th. And so I want to turn it into her before then, because I don't want to work on it when I'm in Turkey.
Yeah,
And
no,
I
you
feel like
don't
I'm
have
on
to.
track. Like I'm done, I feel like, okay, yay. But I just wanted to run it through Pro Writing Aid first and fix all the passive voice and, maybe add some word music here and there and make it all pretty. But I feel like I guess I do worry a little bit about the sensory details, because that doesn't come naturally. And I think that's why I love it so much when I read it in other people's work. And I assumed as a writer that whatever it is that I loved to read would just come naturally to me as a writer. So that's totally not true. And my first drafts have like no setting in them whatsoever. Not a lot of sensory details. It's just sort of like a big fat hairy outline, really, like it's like one of those, some people write those outlines that are like 50 pages long or something like that. And so my first drafts tend to be just a very sparse, like this is happening here, and insert this here later, and put a scene of this in later. And that's kind of what my rough draft looks like. So I have to go back in and add layers. And so I usually go through many editing passes. And one of those passes is just putting setting in. And one of those passes is just, putting in the sensory details. And one of those passes is, yeah. So I just go through and layer things on top of it. So I feel like I've done most of that. And so I feel like that's done. And now I'm just tweaking oh, maybe I should add a metaphor here. Or is that really the best word for this line? You know, that kind of stuff. That's what I need to do now before I send it to the editor. And then she'll probably find a bunch of stuff for me to fix too, which is good because I can't see it anymore. But yeah, that's where I am in my book. And I still have January 1st is going to be my launch date. And I think I'm pretty on track for that. So I'm happy about
For
that.
you.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll launch at the same time.
We could do well, you're on the other side of the continent. So, but maybe we could do some sort of like joint launch on YouTube or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we
know.
probably could.
I love, because of COVID, you know, everyone's used to getting on, you know, YouTube and watching a live or a Facebook launch or something like that.
Mhm.
But now that it's more open for in-person stuff, I'm wondering if that will fall off. Or like, I am going to a book launch next week, I think. That's YouTube live. So we'll see how she does it. And I've been to one during COVID before for another author friend, but I don't know like how successful those actually are. I'm not sure.
We'll find out.
Sounds terrifying for an introvert, actually. in an in-live person thing, you know, I can gird up and be on stage and do my thing, and then I can kind of like hide behind the bar for a little bit. But when I'm right in front of a camera for 2 hours or whatever, and I don't know, trying to come up with something witty to say for even this last 10 minutes is really killing me, you guys.
I'm sorry. Quick, everybody, come up with a joke. No.
Oh, that's even worse.
I know.
I
as
can't
soon
be
as
witty on
anybody asks-
demand. That's why I'm a writer, because I can edit it.
Anytime anybody asks, I always get the worst, like that one's too dirty or it's like way too racist of a joke. Every time pops into my head whenever someone's like, quick, a joke. And I'm like, ooh, nope, I don't have any.
Oh man. Well, I would love to keep in touch with you guys. You can email me anytime, questions or just whatever. I mean, I always have that little free 15-minute discovery call on my website too. You can always just pop on and run an idea past me or email me or whatever. I want to be available. So I'm open to anything.
And I want to see how you guys are, you know, moving forward. So when you get ready for your launches, let me know. I probably have a different audience than both of you, but some of my people read anything and everything. So maybe it will help.
Yeah, that would be great. So author@lakirk.com. Is that your email address?
It is.
Okay. And you are Miss Catherine MH or miss.catherine.mh
Yeah.
at gmail.com. Okay. All right. Cool. Well,
Yeah.
it was great meeting with you and chatting with you. And I'm really glad that we had this experience, and I hope it was useful, and I hope I see you around.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye.
Great. Bye.